Welcome back. I hope you all are having a wonderful night. It's about, I think it's like 11:30 my time. Yeah. And I'm about to, I don't know, probably paint and draw. But I wanted to pick me up and I wanted to get some inspiration. So I have with me this gigantic volume that we began to look at another video, a previous video, and it's on Monet, one of my favorite artists, one of the earliest inspirations, I think. I probably started looking at his paintings when I was pretty young, about maybe 12 or 13. And it's a huge volume. I think we made it to, okay, so we made it to page 37. And I don't think we'll be really looking at going in depth with his biography, but I think it would just be fun to flip through some of his paintings, especially when there are paintings that take up both pages or are a little larger, because, oh yeah, okay, so let's start on this. This is on, oh, there's some good ones. Okay, well, let's do this winter scene. It's called The Road in Front of Saint-Simeon Farm in Winter. Kind of on theme for, I guess we're starting February. There's still some snow around where I'm from. And that one was done in 1867. So it looks like some of the bullet points in this chapter, this chunk of text is entitled Landscape Painting, Initial Success and Setbacks from 1865 to 1870. So it looks like we'll be covering a 5-year period of paintings. This is one of his most famous. Let's see here. Well, where will it say Jean-Marguerite Legrand in the Garden? That's this famous painting. I know I've seen it before, but I never knew the exact name of it. So this must be The Lady in the Garden. So delicate. And I love the color choices. Some of those soft, kind of velvety yellows and whites. Really pretty. Oh, okay, so this is one of Manet. So not Monet, Manet, and it must have been a little bit of a comparison. Yeah, okay, so they say in this chapter, for Manet, these incessant comparisons between him and Monet, generally to his disadvantage, were becoming a sort of obsession. Durante noted, Manet is absolutely tormented by his rival Monet. Wow. Indeed, he says that having magnetized him, he would now be glad to dematize him. The mediation of Zachary Astrec led to a meeting between the two. Their antagonism, fueled by provocations not of their making, was buried. That's nice. One critic, at least, did not seek to contrast Monet with Manet when praising the former. This was the greatest of them all, Émile Zola. I have Émile Zola's writings in this book of Manet, who was a huge fan of Manet's. A firm supporter of Manet, he wrote in L'Événement of the 2nd of May, I confess that the picture which longest detained me was the Camille by M. Monet. Yes, indeed. Here is a temperament to reckon with. Here is a real man amid a crowd of eunuchs. That's kind of funny. Okay, well, this is one of Manet's most famous. It's Luncheon on the Grass. Very provocative image. It could have, I mean, I might just break down this painting alone sometime, because there were so many social implications to this painting, so many rules that it broke, so many, yeah, I'm just gonna get distracted if I continue on. So beautiful. There's Luncheon on the Grass and Luncheon on the Grass, different one. This is a double bay that we have over here. I love how yellow that dress is. It's so pleasant against the dull greens. And just as a side note, you know, usually it's hard to get into the nitty-gritty of the plastic effects of painting. But there's a big one, this spiral effect that leads your eye in and around the figures, and then leads back up and over, and so there's a lot of these small, I mean, if you look at a painting long enough, you'll see these kind of invisible lines, which is something one of my old professors, Professor Reed, is really good about pointing out. It's those invisible forces between paintings and between their elements that kind of describe something deeper. This is another very striking vertical portrait. I mean, the head, as you can see, takes up just a very little bit of the canvas, but is striking. I mean, there's very striking portrait. Camille, or the woman with the green dress. And then the next one will be Garden at Saint-Andrés. Garden at Saint-Andrés was 1867 and is a masterpiece with these glorious, blocky brushstrokes. And this one's another very famous piece. This piece inspired one of my favorite films, El Porco Rosso, a Studio Ghibli film. And you can see how that outdoor scene just is written all over El Porco Rosso's set design with the hotel. If you know, you know. It's very pleasant. Oh, this is so interesting. Oh, so it's the Church of Saint-Germain-les-Auxerrois. I always don't know how to pronounce that. The reason why I'm interested in this church is because it's right next to the Louvre, and I'm working on a competition for, kind of for the Louvre, only it's not, how do I explain this? The Louvre did hold competition drawings for a new East entrance about a year ago, but there's an architect friend that our department knows that's going to be submitting some pieces to compete in this kind of internal, it's a smaller competition. I'm getting sidetracked, but basically I've been working on floor plans for an expansion to the Louvre for the past 4 weeks, ever since school started. This is another fairly famous one, or at least one I've seen before. Portraits of the Family, or Family Reunion, in 1867. Frederic Bazille. Monet had an aptitude for the dresses and adding just enough splashes of sunlight to make it believable. So beautiful, so delicate. I understand later in life Monet would go to Japan, and that's where he got a lot of inspiration for some of his textiles. So it's interesting to see differences between, gosh, that just so striking. Sorry, between some of his earlier portraits. You can see how his earlier portraits are a little duller with regards to textiles. Still getting his footing there. This one, a portrait of Miss Gaudibert in 1868. Portrait de Madame Gaudibert, Musée d'Orsay. Interesting stuff. A lot of smaller paintings, lakeside ones. Early days in, I don't know if I can pronounce it, Argenteuil, and the trip to Rouen. Entrance to the port of Trouville, 1870. This reminds me of a Sargent painting. That ambient occlusion that you get with cloudy skies. Okay, this is a really famous incomplete painting. Oh, this is exquisite harp. Exciting. This is the Hotel des Roches Noires in Treville. You can see where the flag is a little unfinished, but in a playful way. And some of the, well, yeah. I can't tell if it's just like kind of being playful or if it's not entirely finished, right? Can't make up my mind. Either way, it's lovely. And it's just a snapshot of summer. So much energy. Boats in the Port of London and the Thames below Westminster. It's interesting how Westminster had been constructed by the time he painted it. Not something I, well? Oh, sorry, by Westminster, I mean, the Parliament House. House of Parliament. Well, yeah, maybe, I can't tell if it had or hadn't. This is 1871. Yeah, it should have been. That was during Queen Victoria's time, right? When the House of Parliament was built on the Thames. Guys, I don't do enough preparation before videos. I just press record, and so I honestly don't really know. Let's get something a little more relaxing. This one's called Windmill at Zaandam. Peaceful. He made so many paintings. Quite a prolific, I mean thousands of paintings. So, I don't know, very interesting. Very prolific. Okay, I think we might stop there. It even came with this fancy ribbon that you can use. We stopped at 105, so we made a good amount of progress. It's still gonna take a while to get to page 500, but I'm sure in the future we'll look more at that. Now this is a book I really want to do a video of. And I just keep looking at it ever since December. And it has these wonderful, wonderful fold-out pages. So you can take a page, and then there's more, which is going to be really fun to show off. Let's give you a snapshot of, whoa, of what is to come. Isn't this beautiful? I'm like trying to see if it's showing up on camera. Really fun. So we'll show you more of that later. So that's gonna be a fun book to look at. And then I have a Manet book to look at. That will be cute. And a lot of really good excerpts from Emile Zola. And then we already did the Anderson, and I wanted to show this off too. This is a beautiful gift from my best friend. And it's Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. No, excuse me, Sleeping Beauty vinyl. And I can't wait to open it and play it. It has 2 discs, but I love the artwork, the cover. It's beautiful. Yeah, so that's another thing that. And then I have so many other books too to show off. I collect art books, and every time I go to any antique store, I always check the books, because sometimes there will be art books in the places that you least expect. So that's always a regular for me, is to make sure that I see their selection, and maybe I'll get 1 or 2. So, you know, I don't think it's a problem yet, but I'm getting quite a collection, and they're usually pretty big, and so I'm gonna have to find a space for them at some point. But you know, it's just fun showing them off. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to film the next one. I hope you have a lovely night or day, or whenever you're watching this, maybe in the morning. So I'll see you for the next one. Bye.